Welcome back to Gear of the Common Game. Today, in deck number 831, we're going to talk about Toxrill the Corrosive. Had a lot of fun building this particular deck. We have a 7-mana, 7/7 Slug Horror. At the beginning of each end step, put a slime counter on each creature you don't control. Pretty neat. Creatures you don't control get -1/-1 for each slime counter on them. Now keep in mind, these are not -1/-1 counters, so all of that cool -1/-1 counter synergy doesn't work here. Whenever a creature you don't control with a slime counter on it dies, you get a slug token that you can sacrifice to draw a card. So, I instantly knew exactly what I wanted to do with this. Well, the first 5 cards anyway. So, we've got some of the proliferate stuff in here to mound up those counters to where, ideally nobody has creatures but us, right? But there is a thing here. If we are in blue and black because of his color identity in the text box, blue and black. So we are running Urborg. Specifically got this Urborg. Thank you, Mr. Allen. I was able to trade this from Allen. And making all land swamps. It is such a pinnacle theme that I'm also running Blanket of Night. I will pay 3 mana for that effect, right? Well, the reason why is Cormus Bell. So you have Toxrill, you have your Urborg, or Blanket, doesn't matter. And all lands are swamps. Now all swamps become 1/1 black creatures. They have summoning sickness, so you cannot tap them when they come into play. And at the end of their turn, they get a slime counter on them and they die. You perpetually kill everyone's land every single turn. And the new land that they play, it's not like they can play a mana, or lay a land, tap it for mana, and do a thing because it's sick. It is really, really bad. I get it. I do have the expedition map. That is to go and find the Urborg. Final parting, we'll find whatever parts that we need. Swiftfoot boots and Whisper Silk Cloak is to keep Toxrill protected, because I really, really think that he's going to be targeted. Argivian Restoration, in case the Cormus Bell dies, we can get it back. Rescue to get back anything that gets targeted. So that's my combo, right? And everything else kind of spun off of that. But first off, our commander is a very expensive commander. What was that, 7 mana? We've got to get that commander in play, right? So here is our ramp, fast mana, fixing. You pick the term. Soul Ring. I'm going to roll through these real quick because they're all artifacts that give mana, right? Star Compass, Sky Diamond, Commander Sphere, Dreamstone Hedron, Sisay's Ring, Drake Skull Cameo, Darksteel Ingot, Dimir Cluestone, Signet, Key Rune, and Locket, a Dark Ritual, Spectral Searchlight, and Seer's Lantern. So, as I said, there's a lot of it just simply because we are trying to cast our commander. Now, we also need to find the cards that we need, right? So, we have some card draw. Night's Whisper. Some decks I put in more card draw than others just because the theme lends itself to it. So here we have blue and black. These are card drawing colors, and we have a specific combo that we are trying to get to. Hence the reason why all of the card draw. Sign in Blood, Frantic Search, Underworld Connections, Ancestral Memories, Damnable Pact, and Tezzeret's Gambit, which Tezzeret's Gambit leads us into our Proliferate, because not everybody's going to have just 1/1s. They're going to have bigger creatures, so we need to mound up those slime counters on them. So that is why the Contagion Clasp, Thrumming Bird in there for the proliferation sake. Yes, if you've got the Contagion engine, that would be awesome as well. But then I stumbled across 2 cards which kind of influenced the rest of the deck. I stumbled across Eternal Thirst. Enchant creature has a lifelink, and whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, put a 1/1 counter on this. Well, our commander is already a 7/7, so he's in the 3-hit club, meaning that 3 hits from him is 21 commander damage. So it would be really neat if we could get him up to 11, because that's the next. That's 2 hits. So, and if our combo works and everybody's lands die, this could potentially to get the slug way up there into 1 shot. So, and then I ran across Doomwake Giant. Whenever Doomwake Giant or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, creatures your opponents control get -1/-1, including their land creatures now. So, yeah, just finding more ways to make enemies, right? I know. But that, I was like, well, that's what are some really good enchantments? Well, the Telepathy is a really good early enchantment that lets us see what's in other players' hands. You know, if they have the counter magic, if they have the enchantment, artifact, creature destruction, whatever, it gives us perfect information. And nothing bad can happen from that, right? Well, more enchantments. There's several here. Endless Whispers. Because each creature, now keep in mind, their land, optimally speaking, if we've done our thing, their lands are creatures. And so when one of their creatures dies, they have to give it away. When this creature is put into a graveyard, choose target opponent. That player puts this creature card from their graveyard into play under his or her control at end of turn. Now, I figure since we are the main bad guy at the table, they are not going to give it to me. However, there is, you know, some table politics that you can do that may get you a land or 2. I don't know. We have Intimidation. All our creatures have fear, essentially. Thought Reflection, helping that card draw out. Mind Control, just in case something is big enough or can't have counters on it or whatnot. Frozen Ether is going to make all of their things come into play tapped, because we don't have a whole lot of creatures, right? So we need to, you know, try to keep ourselves alive while we're trying to piece together this combo. Levitation, our stuff flies. Archetype of Imagination, our stuff is the only thing that flies. I know it's risky, but Arcane Laboratory. Can't play more than 1 spell each turn. That can slow down. This is kind of one of those conditional cards you put in the deck. It may or may not be useful. You may or may not even want to cast it. But there are more and more Spellslinger decks out there, thanks to Strixhaven. And it can really nerf some decks. But then we have Underworld Dreams, Fate Unraveler, as just a slow, grindy way to try to, you know, deal some damage. And I was already 2/3 of the way there, so I was like, well, Ob Nixilis, why not? Let's get the card draw hate going. Now, Fate Transfer, we're into the weird category now. I like Fate Transfer. We use this a lot in -1/-1 counter decks, but this lets us move the slime counters from one creature to another, so... Sleep is a great win-the-game card. Just taps their whole team. They don't untap. It may not be win the game. It may be kill target player, because they have no defenses, you know. And then we do have 2 creatures, honest to goodness creatures. Silumgar, flying hexproof, but Silumgar is a dragon, of course. When a dragon attacks, creatures defending player get -1/-1, so that, there again, the team getting -1/-1 is a theme, you know. We have that, we have Suffocating Flames, Echoing Decay, that's silly. Echoing Decay is good even if the combo's not in play, because there's so many tokens. But then Consuming Aberration, I just wanted a big, huge body. That's what I wanted. And I figured if all of their lands are getting destroyed every turn, the Aberration should be rather large, and this can end a game quickly. I'm not against mass land destruction, but if it's mass land destruction to win the game, that's one thing. If you destroy all lands and then you're just wallowing there for another 20 turns without a way to win, that's a problem. So let's look at I guess starting our removal. The Shriekmaw is a creature, but I typically put it with the removal category. But I mean, it's a decent creature. Here again, I have probably more removal than normal, but not as much as I need, if that makes any sense, you know. We have Murder, Tragic Slip, Doomblade, the new downgraded Hero's Downfall. This card used to be a rare, for those of you who are new to the game. This was a rare back in Theros. So, to get this down to uncommon, wow, I like it. A little bit of counter magic and mana leak and negate. I probably should have more counter magic in here. I think I am out right now of actual factual counter spells. I mean, I have a gold border one, but as of this far at 831 decks, I haven't used any gold border cards. So because I have this thing of I want all the decks on the wall to be legal, and I know gold border counterspell is effectively a legal proxy, if you will, because I mean it's still counterspell, it's still made by wizards, whatever, but it's just one of those minutia things that I haven't done yet, and I may not do. I mean, I've gotten this far. So Feed the Swarm, not a lot of enchantment removal in these 2 colors, so that's why it's in there. Blood on the Snow. Don't have a whole lot of snow-covered lands. I love snow, but I don't have a whole lot of snow-covered. But it is a board wipe. And then that brings us to our non-basic lands. We have that Rogue's Passage to make sure that our commander can get through so that we can deal the commander damage win. Some mana fixing in Evolving Wilds and Terramorphic Expanse. A lot of, Dismal Backwater, Command Tower, Temple of the False God. Now, I know I don't normally use Temple of the False God in 2-color decks. I normally use it in 1-color decks, but with a 7-mana commander that our whole deck is built around, I felt it necessary. Vivid Marsh, Thriving Isle, Thriving Moor, Jwaral Refuge. It's just pretty much every blue-black land I could get my hands on. Dimir Aqueduct, Dimir Guildgate, Submerged Boneyard, Mistvault Bridge, and Ice Tunnel. And that is Toxrill. Now, some upgrades to the deck. If you are curious as to building this one, I would obviously hire quality lands, but we could also do more tutors, more proliferation. The board wipe thing is a lot. There needs to be way more board wipes. It does. More counter magic, probably. Yeah. So a lot can be done with it. I'm looking forward to playing it. As I'm recording this, it's Thursday. Like, what is that? December 2nd. So I'm hoping I can play it again, or I can play it for the first time tomorrow. However, that's the downside. I normally try to stay ahead of the curve, and I have decks that my playgroup has not seen yet. But this is coming out the day before, so if my playgroup watches this, they will be gunning for that specific commander. Hopefully, they won't all watch it. I don't know. I know I kind of got off my schedule there. The holidays kind of threw us all for a loop here in the U.S., but we're back on track now. I need to go back and see exactly, because my goal was to get 200 decks done this year, and I have no clue how close I am. So I do appreciate y'all. Thank y'all very much for liking, subscribing, watching, and thank you so much. But right now, we are going to go ahead